All right, everybody, welcome to the first episode of the PB or PokeBoard Podcast. It has been kind of a sort of long road to get here. I've had so many connection issues with my laptop, it just has not been funny. Then I had some issues with my desktop, my Mac, so now I think I got it all resolved, which is great. I am joined today by a fellow PokeBoard member, Du Toit. Hey, Du Toit, what's up?
Hello.
All right, so obviously we have some things that we're going to talk about today. I mean, that's the entire point of a podcast. We have taken some ideas from you guys. First of all, swearing and everything is allowed in this podcast, so not for young children, I guess. But it's going to be really weird for me because I usually try and censor myself, especially when I'm online and such. So that's going to be slightly weird knowing that, I can cuss. So I probably won't cuss as much knowing that I'm on air. What about you?
As much.
As much. Anyway, so it's kind of cool that, hey, that's allowed. We're allowed to swear. So we're also going to be talking about more than just Pokemon. This podcast is going to be about kind of like all things pretty much entertainment is what I'm naming it. Books, TVs, movies, all that jazz. That way we aren't just talking about one topic. All right. Now, before we get into it, though, how has your day been, Du Toit? Going well?
Yeah, it's been going good, man.
That is
Rugby and all that, so
good. Like I'm here in Indiana, and our weather. I used to live in California, so I'm really spoiled when it comes to weather. And I swear to God, our weather here in Indiana, it can't make up its mind. It literally can't. It's like, oh, well, we're gonna be rainy one day. We're gonna be freaking snowing. It literally snowed like 5 minutes on my way to work and then just stopped. So, yep, I'm done snowing. I hate the weather here, suffice to say. Okay, so here we're going to get in our first topic. For our first topic, we are going to be talking about something significant that has happened that everyone has had time to adjust to, and that's our new administrator, and that is Slowking. He is the new guy in charge. He is our king, our fearless leader. He's the new guy in town. What do you think about him so far, Du Toit? What do you think about some of the things he's been doing?
to be honest, I'm liking what he's done so far. The changes he's made, making PB more active already, and the battle server for Smogon is really nice.
Oh my God, the new server is nice. We are going to be talking about that a little later on because I am super happy so far with it. And like I said, we'll be talking about that just a little bit later on in the podcast. But yeah, with Slowking, I'm very happy with some of his changes. He's a very busy guy, but he still seems to be dedicated to PokeBoard as a whole, and I really like that. He's just implemented all these changes. I can't wait to see what he's doing next. I'm especially looking forward to a new skin. Just the skin that he had before, unfortunately, had some problems. He had to take it down.
Was pretty good, I'm gonna lie.
Yeah, but that was an awesome skin, and I think that we're going to be getting a new one soon. So that's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to a new skin because I've always said I think we need a new, better, more advanced skin, and if we can get that, I think that would really help increase our activity. Plus, it's nice. So
Yeah, I have to agree with that because the current layout's been here since basically 2013, if I remember correctly.
oh yeah, we haven't had really an updated skin since that time. We've had the new MyBB software because we were outdated for a number of years for quite a while, so that was good. All right, so Slowking, our new administrator, new leader, he's doing awesome so far. I really like to see his enthusiasm and what he brings to the table, and I think it's going to be good for our future, don't you?
Yeah, because with him, there's actually hope for PokeBoard.
Yeah, I agree. I really do. I think that we can actually kind of rise up from the ashes. All right. So on to the next topic. I think we've said all we can say on Slowking at the moment. He's doing an awesome job, so keep it up, buddy. All right, next topic, next kind of big news that kind of just dropped, though we haven't gotten a chance to really talk about it over a podcast until now due to all the issues we had. But that's Pokemon Sun and Moon. What are your initial thoughts on these games and the announcement?
Well, seeing as I missed the live stream, it was pretty nice to have a thread on PokeBoard with all you guys posting what was going on. So far, I'm pretty excited for what's going to happen from what I heard.
And I want to continue doing that. Like when there's huge announcements and stuff like that, I really want to, kind of keep in tune with that if I can. Which is why every so often I'll look up the news and see what's going on. Because if we can have another live thread like we had before, where everyone's just posting, as it's going on and giving their initial thoughts afterward, that's the kind of thing that I want to see on PokeBoard. In all honesty, but
that was pretty interesting. Nice to see something different for a change.
Oh, I know. But I'll tell you right now, I didn't think that they would announce Pokemon Sun and Moon so early. Like, it's 2016, and I mean, I guess the older generation has already been out for like 1 or 2 years, but still, I expected a 2017 release date at the earliest. I was surprised about the release date, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I do remember that we actually talked about that with Fred as well. We were expecting maybe something from Pokemon Go, but then they dropped the Pokemon Sun and Moon.
But I think the reason that they did that is because, they had already copyrighted the names and people saw that, were already speculating. So I'm guessing Nintendo just decided they were going to get ahead of it and drop the news now, even though they didn't show much,
Yeah.
And then they had the recent quote unquote footage, which I was sort of disappointed in because they marketed it as like, oh, here's all this new, we're going to show this new footage. Let's hype this all up. And then it was stuff that we've pretty much already seen, so it was nothing new. What did you think of that new quote unquote new footage that they showed?
Once again, I myself did not actually see it, but I remember you guys talking about that in the daily chat thread, and everyone's being upset about it.
Yeah.
Because you all expected some big news to be dropped, but then it was all just footage they showed in the live stream, apparently.
Yeah, it really was, kind of disappointing because they didn't show anything new. So I'm hoping the next announcements will actually show something new, maybe even just some grayed out outlines or something like that in the new starters or anything like that, because I'm always curious to see the new starters. Although I almost always go with the fire type Pokemon, except for I think it was X and Y that had Tedpig. I'm not sure. What was it?
Black and White.
Black and White. Yeah, except for Black and White. I didn't go with Tedpig that time. I don't know why. I just didn't really... I don't know. Like, he didn't speak to me. So I was like, okay, I'll just go ahead, as if a digital thing could speak to me. But I just wasn't feeling Tedpig. I felt, the grass starter that time around. All right.
You weren't feeling the bacon.
Yep. All right. So we've talked about Pokemon Sun and Moon, but if you guys want to talk about that more, honestly, create some threads on the forums. We're, looking forward to talking about that and speculating. I don't know about you, Mr. Toit, but I really like to read. I used to read before I started really, just started working so much. I used to read like a book a day. I would read all the time. I'd be constantly reading. Do you like to read? Is that something that you do, or is that something you generally, stay away from?
Interestingly, I actually do. I'm busy reading The Blade Itself, written by Joe Abercrombie. I read that usually before I go to sleep at night, and I also spend a lot of time reading useless facts on Reddit.
Okay, Joe Abercrombie's books, it was about the barbarian, and I forget what the books are. But that series, I wish I could remember the name for it real quick. Let me look it up real quick because I have some things to say about that. I really do. Let's see. He's known for the First Law trilogy. Is that what it is? Is it the First Law?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's with
the First Law is the Blade itself.
Yeah, he's got... half a king, half the world, half a war. He's got the blade, the blade itself, Before They Are Hanged, and The Argument of Kings. I've read all of them, and I hated it. Like, don't get me wrong, they were awesome. I just hated how it was so dark, and like everything just went to shit. And there was only one character in there that really kind of came out ahead in the fact that he got this, beautiful wife who's willing to, clean up after him, and so to speak. It's much worse than that, but willing to clean up after him and all this other stuff. It's like, that's like the only guy who came out ahead in that entire thing. Everyone else was completely fucked. They were just completely, like, in that book. I read that and I was depressed. So I finished everything. and I was just depressed. Like I was done. I was like, that was totally depressing. And I don't know. I guess maybe I'm just not a fan of reading completely depressing stuff. Even if it was good, it was just depressing. What about you? Have you
The
finished all of
thing,
those books, or have you only got a certain part?
I'm basically done with the bed itself, and I already bought the second book in the series. Not sure on its name. Before They Are Hanged. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm planning to read it very soon. But I actually enjoy the
I'm sorry.
gruesome parts of the book because you usually expect the protagonist to go out very well, but not in this book series.
God, I mean everything. Like, I'm sorry if that's just a spoiler for you, but I mean seriously, everything is like just goes to shit. Like it's completely, and
Yeah,
obviously it's not going to tell. I'm not going to tell you why or exactly whatever happens. You'll discover that for yourself. But I was just depressed after reading that series. I read it a long time ago. I don't think I'll ever read them again because I love to read things over and over again. But that depressed me too much. But what I've been reading recently is Calamity. I haven't finished it. I've only gotten like actually through maybe 3 or 4 pages. It's from Brandon Sanderson's Reckoner series. Now, I have kind of moved away from young adult genre mostly because I find most of it just to be full of cliches and bad love stories. But this one,
yeah.
this young adult series is really good. Most of my friends who read a lot and they're adults too, they even like this. So I don't know if you've read it, but Brandon Sanderson's Reckoner series is really good. Give it a go ahead. Have you heard of it? Have you read it or what?
I've actually never heard of it, but I'll keep that in mind. I'll quickly bookmark a page of it so that I remember to read it.
Oh, it's excellent, including Dresden Files. Have you heard of the Dresden Files? That one's not a young adult, and there's like 16 books in the series.
I've heard about that, the 16-book series, but I've never read it.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I read a lot, so I mean, I've read almost probably I wouldn't say every fantasy novel under the sun, but I've read quite a bit. The Wheel of Time, the Dresden Files, the Reckoners, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings. Um, a bunch of other epic fantasies. There's one that Brandon Sanderson's also doing right now called the Stormlight Archive, the King Killer Chronicles by Patrick Rothfuss, and so much more that I've read. That's all awesome. But not only do I like to read, I pretty much like anything to do with stories, and that includes movies. I love to watch movies. I don't get to watch them as much as I'd like, but it seems like I'm constantly in the theater at least once or twice every week. A good portion of my paycheck, I would say, goes toward films. What about you? Do you like movies? What movies have you seen recently?
Can you please repeat that?
What movies have you seen? Sorry about that. What movies have you seen recently, and do you like to watch movies?
I recently watched Deadpool. I really enjoyed that.
Deadpool's
I
awesome.
actually enjoy the whole superhero series going, not series, but trend going on at the moment.
Deadpool was awesome, wasn't it? I just love it. He's
Yeah,
like,
it was.
I only have one bullet, so you're gonna have to share. Just one quote from it. That movie was awesome. And he was like, "Oh, you might have thought that this was a love story. Well, surprise! This is a different kind of love story, or I think he said superhero story, but it's awesome.
No, it's a
Deadpool
love story.
was great. I loved it. Just everything in there, and the humor, and the breaking the fourth wall. I love it. He's like a fourth wall break inside of a fourth wall break. That's just
Yeah.
He's like, that's like 16 times fourth wall break. It's awesome. Like, all of that is great. I love Deadpool. I saw Batman v Superman. I think was the last movie that I've seen. I'm gonna go see The Jungle Book probably next week. I want to see Hardcore Henry as well. I really like Batman v Superman, but a trailer dropped for the Suicide Squad just recently. Like,
Oh, that was so good.
you saw it? Wasn't it awesome?
Oh, yeah.
With like Ballroom Blitz playing in the background. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, like I can't sing or do it, but it's just that was stellar. Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn is awesome. I think Jared Leto is going to nail it as the Joker. I really do. Everything about that trailer. Will Smith when he's trying to get
Also,
the
The
What?
Ben Affleck making a cameo. I didn't actually know he was going to be in the movie.
Oh yeah, I actually heard a rumor that he's going to be in the movie more than people think. Actually.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so I hear he's going to be in the movie a little bit more than people actually think. I really like Ben Affleck's Batman. I really do, despite what people are saying about him killing people. I'm like, whatever. I still like him. He's great. Because he's so brutal and just awesome. He's awesome to see on screen. And I think it's going to be great with him being in Suicide Squad as his little cameo. I think it's going to be better than Batman v Superman. Like, not only do I think it's going to be better in the eyes of people who liked Batman v Superman, but I think it's going to be, more critically well received as well.
Yeah,
Than
because
Batman.
it's more comedic.
Because David Ayer is just, I think, a superior director to Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be awesome. It looks fun. It looks like it's going to be exciting, and it's going to further the universe. So I think I'm super stoked to see that, especially Jared Leto's Joker. And I loved I think my favorite scene out of that trailer that they showed us is when Will Smith was trying to get that fire guy hyped up. I can't remember his name.
Oh, yeah.
And he blows the flames, and he's like, I was just trying to get you there, man. Like, we're cool, right? Like, that was hilarious. That was awesome. Okay, any other movies you're excited for or anything like that coming out soon? Anything else you want to mention about Suicide Squad before we move on?
Well, the Jungle Book movie coming out is also pretty hyped up, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to be awesome. Really looking forward to the Jungle Book movie. I thought the trailers and everything in that was awesome. What do you think? How well do you think it's going to do at the box office? Just a quick estimate from you.
Seeing as it's a Disney movie, it'll definitely make a profit, but I'm not thinking it's going to be as well received as Inside Out.
Okay, over or under 80 million opening weekend?
I think a bit under, because it's a live action.
Bit under? Okay, I'm gonna go the opposite of you. I'm gonna go a bit over, actually. So
Okay.
I think a bit over. Well, maybe in the next podcast we'll see how well it does, and then we'll compare.
Yeah.
I think it'll be to do a bit over. I think it's going to be really well received, and I think word of mouth will carry it to a bit over 80 million in my eyes, anyway. So we're going to move on to our last topic, and that's PB updates, PokeBoard updates, and that's basically where we're going to talk about some various things that have been happening with the forum, etc., and then we'll see what your thoughts on that are on that, and then we'll see what everyone else's thoughts when they go ahead and post things are. Okay, so PB updates. Obviously, the newest thing coming out that came out is the server for PokeBoard. I told you that we were going to talk about that a little bit, and we are. What are your thoughts on our new server, just dedicated to the forum?
I find it pretty nice because it's a nice place to just hang out, talk to the guys a lot easier than on the forum itself, and the battling going on as well. So it's actually a bit chilled.
Yeah, I mean, when I first really started getting on there, and I started making my team and everything else like that, I thought it was this. Okay, I'm sorry, but Du Toit just sent me like this little video GIF, and it's like John Cena, or I'm not. Is that John Cena? Holding the Wonder Woman shield, and it's like Batman and Superman looking at each other like, is he with you? Or I thought he was with you. It's hilarious. Anyway, the new PB server that came out, I was just super excited and stoked at how absolutely active that was. I got on there and I saw these, just these lines of comments and discussions going down, and I thought, that's awesome. It's what I wanted out of this server. It's kind of what I want to be on the forum too, but I think unfortunately a quick chat like that tends to look a little bit more active than the forum itself, even if you have only a couple people on there. So that was great. I'm looking forward to seeing that get more active. I'm looking forward to the battles. Recently, I've been posting. I've seen some people actually post their teams on PokeBoard, kind of for some critique. I myself did it. A fellow member Codex did it. So that's that's awesome. I want to be doing that lately because, I mean, everyone can try and, get some critique and improve and everything else like that. I think that's good. That's the kind of thing for the future that I want to see. People building their teams, getting, critique. Hey, what do you think about this? What do you think would fit here better? I like seeing that a lot. And I want to see that more, but I want to see it not just from a few people, but from everybody. That's my goal, is I really want to get the league up there. I really want it to be something that not only can the most casual person come to and play, but I also want it to be something that competitive people can enjoy and also maybe part their knowledge on some of these new people who may want to learn about it. I think that's great. So PB servers, obviously the newest thing. Obviously, I myself, Neo3, am an administrator now, so I'm kind of running things while Slow King is busy at work, and I'm doing my best. I'm open to thoughts and suggestions. I don't want to enter, and I'm not going to touch on it too much, but I don't want to enter another age of moderators or bias and stuff like that. With me pretty much being second in command, so to speak, I want to make sure that stuff doesn't happen again. So if there's any kind of suggestions or thoughts or whatever, approach me. I consider myself to be pretty reasonable. So if you have any kind of thoughts, I would prefer you not make a public thread at this point. I would just private message myself, and we'll try to deal with it as best we can. I promise I won't take off anyone's heads or ban you prematurely. Okay? So, all right. So that's the updates. Any closing thoughts from you?
It was nice chatting with you.
That's your closing thought. It's nice chatting with you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, so here's the thing. Before we officially end this first podcast. First of all, no connections issues this time. I haven't had to stop, log back on, and restart. That's awesome to me. And secondly, if you have any questions for the next podcast, please post them in the thread that I'm going to put this podcast up. Post your questions. I would love to have a segment where we could just answer those, and it can be about anything at all, movies, TV. I would prefer not incredibly personal questions, but ask them if you want. They might get answered. So anything like that, just post any questions that come to mind. And at this point, I would like to say thanks to everyone who stays involved with PokeBoard. Seriously, I mean, it means a lot that people are, continually being active on there, even if after they've had issues in the past. That's great to see, and it's also great to see new faces. So, thanks all. If you want to get involved in this podcast, either shoot me a private message or post in one of the threads that I have available for this podcast. All right. Thanks for tuning in. You guys all have a nice day.